Our next guest is a charming, funny young man. Sorry, I thought I started as Johnny.
I like it.
I should do Johnny. Our next guest is a charming, funny young man. Had a lot of success with the television show The Office with Steve Carell. And of course, The Hangover.
Ed, have you seen The Office? Ed, have you seen The Hangover's a little rougher on the edges?
The Office takes place in an office.
Yeah.
It's Ed Helms, everybody.
Yeah. You know the face. He does commercials. He was in the Vacation reboot, I think. Mm-hmm. I saw that. Funny. He was great on The Office. Obviously, the Hangover movies, you can't escape. They're so funny, and all three of them.
Yeah.
With Todd Phillips
a lot
at the helm.
About that.
We get all the deets and ins and outs of those movies. And really fun guy. Looks young, Dana.
He really looked young because when you're on
shimmery
on the Zoom, you see your face and you see his face, and you go, "Huh, what's
what
different?
The fuck is going on?" We look pretty young, but he's in better shape. So I'm going to start doing whatever that is.
He's got a later date on his birth certificate, but he is he's charming, likable, and funny, and tells some great stories. And one of the giant waves to go from The Office to the Hangover movie was just like,
of
be shot out of a rocket ship or whatever they say.
Yeah,
so
that's
he's
what they say.
funny young man, and enjoys us. And I think you're going to enjoy this one, right, Ed?
Yes, enjoying the younger actors. Not that great.
No, it actually was pretty good. I'm laughing because it was actually the right tone.
Very shimmery. Good skin.
All right.
Ed Helms, guys.
Ed Helms. Ed Helms. Thanks for coming on.
Oh my God.
We love having you.
This is a great privilege for me. I am very excited to be here.
Yeah.
Honored. I would say honored.
Oh, okay.
Only mildly.
Thank you.
Only mildly. Mildly embarrassed, but mostly honored.
But no mixed feelings. Hopefully.
Yes.
What I read a quote the other day. Someone said about Kamala Harris. It's not about her at all, but just the phrase "up the wazoo." I hadn't seen it. It was in the New York Times. Like, she's got experience up the wazoo. I just put it out there for you guys as a starting off point for the podcast.
To talk about the term.
I haven't heard that in a while.
It's gone away for sure.
It feels 1960s to me.
Is it new to you, Dana? Because I've definitely heard it before.
Is it new to you, Dana?
But I do feel like I haven't heard it since college.
Ed, David, and Ed. No, I think it's very 60s, with bitching and stuff like that. You guys are younger than me, but we don't have to get into that.
Was there ever a wazoo?
There was a thing. A wazoo was like, no, it was a little metal. Oh, fuck. I was one letter off.
Yeah, and
one. Damn it. Here's my research.
But
Ed Helms.
There it is.
I saved these for my book.
Can somebody Google
wazoo?
Wazoo? I want to know what
Heather, see what it is.
I would assume it's like
colloquial,
right?
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's the huge ass of an Arctic elk, it says. No, I don't know.
Oh God, you had me. It was such a good.
What is
such
it?
A specific.
A person's anus.
Oh.
There you go.
It says it in there. That's got to be slang.
A human anus.
That was a record.
The sad part is this is part of the podcast. We are.
Well, we always say anus on the podcast at some point, but that was only 242.
Anus is a very clinical term, and I do find it sexy. I do find it funny when you mix like a formal doctor setting with like I have a pain in my wazoo.
Right. When a doctor said to me, he goes, I said, I have a pain down here by my hip flexor. He said, it's here. There's a hip flexor. There's a tendon that goes right next to your nut sack. And I go, well,
yeah. Nickname doctor is a funny sketch. Your man unit is experiencing difficulties. Yeah. It's Nick. What would it be? Nickname doctor. You would have done it on a segment on on Jon Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The Daily.
we got into that.
The
Look how we got into that.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember you reminded me of Will Ferrell in the sense you're running around kind of naked around. You're like, you have little bikini briefs on.
No way.
Yeah. That was,
and then you lean down and you go, I got a camera under my ball. Sorry, it's the blue shell, but
nutsack. Well, let's use the clinical term. It's a nutsack.
Good. We've moved on from the anus.
And yeah, you're referring to a field segment I did in which
on the Daily Show.
Yeah, Point Pleasant, New Jersey had just reversed a decades-long ban on banana hammock type bathing suits or Speedo. And so they had banned those for men for decades. They reversed the ban. And so I, of course, went to Point Pleasant, New Jersey and wanted the Speedo point of view. So we put a camera under my nutsack and I walked the streets. God.
This is television. It sounds like filth.
It is absolute filth. I'm not proud of it.
No.
I'm mad it came up.
Yeah. Mad it aired.
Me and my darn research.
I am the Speedo Bandito. Have you ever worn one in real life?
I was a competitive swimmer in high school. I wore them all the time.
Oh my God.
When you say competitive, let's like what was your your stroke? What was your best stroke?
My bet. Well, stroke. Let's talk stroking. I was good at freestyle and butterfly. Those were my strokes. Yeah,
butterfly's kind of violent. I mean, it's weird.
I don't know. I think it's elegant. It's like a kind of dolphin. It's like very beautiful. It's yeah.
So what was your resting pulse when you were like 17 in the morning? Because I did track and field and intervals and all that stuff.
Dana's into pulses and things.
My resting pulse was 34.
You knew your resting pulse in high
school? Is that good or bad? I don't even know
what was all the rage. That was your pulse rate. You know, I
don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know what it is now.
Could you get back to us maybe after the podcast?
I will. I'll check.
Dana's like, I met my wife. We were talking about pulses one day and
just connected.
Just sort of a common interest. Yeah. So you swim. Is freestyle the one where you go one arm, one arm, one arm, one arm?
That's the classic.
That's like the straight ahead basic
Tarzan swim.
Yeah. Is there a treading water? There's not that, is there?
No, not in. I mean, water polo guys do that.
Do they touch the ground or they don't touch the ground?
No, they don't touch the bottom at all.
Oh, and
same with what do you call it? Synchronized swimming. Like they don't even They don't touch the bottom at all.
One more Olympic sport I won't be doing.
But you had to have been crazy fit swimming like that.
What's coming to mind? Yeah, I was in good shape. I was in really good shape in high school. And then I stopped.
Yeah, what happened?
You're in good shape now. Life's been good to you. I want to meet your dermatologist.
Yeah, you look good, dude. I don't know if
my dermatologist is Zoom. I have the little what is the facial facial smoothing.
Blurry background is a good way to maybe look better or worse because it's so much focus on just
What's your app? Because I want to get it with the blurred background. You look filmic. Right now.
I think you have.
I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to give you guys a little tech support on how to look hot. HAWT. I want you to go into your camera menu.
I like
in this. Your. Well, I'm actually.
What's that?
Where's camera? Don't you love how tech support people always say, "All right, do me a favor. Go to your file menu."
I like go to your dashboard. I go in my car.
Yeah.
They go, and you just
do me a favor. Do me a favor. Go
do me
to
a favor.
Do me a favor.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Do you see what do you see right now?
You mind if I share your screen?
Big blur.
I don't know if we're there yet.
Yeah, let me take over your screen. I'm just gonna dip. I'm gonna dip into your personal accounts.
If it's photos. Okay with you,
just give me complete control over this.
Do you care if I close this window that says bonerlicious.com? And I go, no, go ahead. I don't need that anymore. I'm all straight face when they talk about porn. I go, no, that's fine.
No. Hold on. Could you just leave that one. Do you
No,
need
you
to
know
close it?
what?
Can you
What
leave
does
it?
closing windows do to help? Just leave it. Just push it to the side.
Is it taking
You
up
gotta
RAM?
close windows. You gotta close. You gotta close the windows.
Oh yeah, that's Trump when he's
Sorry,
running
I had
on.
to throw in a little Trump.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Trump tech support. That is a good.
Yeah, you
there
gotta
we go.
close the windows. We're gonna close them down.
Close the windows. We're gonna close
me a
more
favor.
windows. They've never seen windows closed like this. This is
Do
the
me a
window
favor.
closing. Do me a favor.
Go to your file menu.
JD, get in here. He's young. He's vibrant. Look at the beard and the blue eyes. Get in here.
You don't need
Hey, Dad.
you
how
don't
you
need a
doing?
filter. I
Oh
hate
my
to talk your
God.
regular job stuff, but when you do the
Yeah.
Daily Show, like, so do you have to be somewhat political? You just have to be funny, right? They don't. It's just like what happens in politics. They find a spin on it, and then they say maybe this will be funny to do a field piece kind of thing.
Yeah, I would imagine it's comparable to the kind of SNL cultural satire, right?
Yeah.
You're just kind of looking at what's happening and trying to figure out usually so the formula for field pieces, which is what I did the most of, was very simple. It was sort of like find a news item, like for example, that Point Pleasant, New Jersey story, and then just take the dumbest possible stance. or in the case of one I did about a guy who was like, who was anti, like trying to, what was he? He was trying to start a straight pride parade in Boston, I think. So obviously he's like a jerk. And then the formula is you just take his side, and then or you just take the wrong side.
Do you ever go with him and say, let's do this? And then he doesn't know he's being clowned or whatever.
Well, yeah. I sat with that guy. We did an interview. There was another guy that was trying to do he was a libertarian, and he started it was ironic, but it was to make a statement. He started a Guns for Tots program, and just to make his like libertarian statement, and of course, and it was like giving away free gun toys to children on playgrounds.
It's a tough sell.
So I
had toy guns, guilty.
Yeah, I had toy guns. I shot every kid on the block.
I had real guns. No, it was but he was so ridiculous. And then a lot of times people, they might even know the Daily Show already, but they think that they can sort of outsmart you.
Yeah.
So you sit with them, and it was a little, I will say, like, kind of the disingenuous part of it was hard for me, because I grew up in the South. I'm very people pleasy. I just want to like make people comfortable and laugh and have a nice time and a nice hangout. And I'm suddenly in this job where I have to sit across from someone and try to make them squirm or ask like horrible.
That gets me
offensive
itchy.
questions. Yeah. And so there was a little bit of just something that went against my grain somehow. And I kind of forced myself to do it. I did love, it was fun to find those really rare moments of like extreme comedy in those moments of tension. But I think I gravitate more towards just good scripted comedy. Like, the SNL stuff was always, that was just like probably everyone that you interview, that was my dream, was to be on SNL and to have your job. And I just looked up to guys like you, and it was, so that was always, and then the Daily Show became, all right, this feels like something I can do also. And my favorite parts on the Daily Show were actually the scripted segments, the studio chats, like with John, where I'd be like at a green screen, in Baghdad or whatever. And those were really more like sketches.
That's fun because you write them ahead of time. You know where the beats are. You think it's going to kill up front.
Yeah.
And at least you have faith in it. I've done field pieces, and I produced a prank show. That made me so itchy. And then field pieces, my theory, I did some on SNL too, where it's have a wispy idea, go out, shoot 12 and a half hours, and you get a 2.5 minute bit.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
It's so hard.
if you shoot enough footage, you're gonna get something
you
can
get an
use.
extra laugh out of a fucking reaction shot or something. Just get some, because sometimes you get it and you go, "This is a little thin, guys," and then they go, "Well, let's get in there," and they edit it and they add something, a little music, and you go, "Okay, not too shabby," you know?
Yeah, true. You're absolutely right. It was those field pieces were built in the edit, and sometimes they fell apart in the edit. There were field pieces I did that just died in the edit room. It was like, there's just no way to save this, which was that's when you walk out like, oh, I'm getting fired today. This is not working out.
You know, Dana, I did one where I went to a plastic surgeon, and we were running out of bits, and I go, let's just go. And then I go, what would you do to me? It's like the dumbest thing, because it got real quick. So he goes, let's just take a quick picture of you. And I go, well, and I started getting a little weird. I go, well, like this is already going sideways on me. Because he goes, oh, there's a lot we could do to you. And I go, okay, this wasn't the way in my head it was going to go. And then he takes one picture and then he goes, hang on. I'm sitting across from his desk. I'm looking at the camera and I'm like, it was funnier the fact that I was sickened by it. Then he turns and he goes, okay, here's the 14 things I would do to you. And 9 of these are like non-negotiable. Like you have to do by noon tomorrow. I'm like, what? He goes, take a little off the nose, take a little off your eyes, take a little off your hair, take a little off your forehead, and we could get you up to an 8. And I'm like, well, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And then I just walk out.
Wait a minute.
I got hit by a car. I'm like, hello,
he
darkness.
Used 8 as a
8 is the maximum?
Yeah. He goes, listen, we're not a fucking miracle workers. He goes,
what did he say? You
125 grand, you can get to an 8 from a 4.7. I go, well, who said I was a 4? What numbers are going? Are we polling people? Because I ran into the zip check on a computer.
Did that air? Can I watch that?
Yeah, I think somewhere.
I think that was from Lights Out. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Showbiz Show.
That's brutal.
It's brutal, dude.
It's brutal. Who is this guy?
That guy's mean.
He took it seriously. He goes, oh yeah, like I've been waiting for a guy like you to walk in. He goes, we're gonna fix you right up.
Oh, there's so much you can do.
Oh my God. Tell me you have no budget.
You're a piece of clay. I can mold you.
You're literally like a piece of clay that hasn't been shaped, just a blobby piece of blob. And
I don't know if this is true or not, or if it's a wives' tale that George Burns went in at 96 and got some work done. No, I'm kidding.
All that way? You took us all that way?
I just thought it was a funny idea. Even at 96,
he got 5 of his 35 wrinkles removed.
Dude,
it was hard to tell.
What about when you see like
35.
the Golden Girls were all like 31 years old, and you're like, wait, on the show? Like, no wonder people thought 50-year-olds were so horribly old. It's like, Archie Bunker was 36 on that show. I'm like, good
I
God.
know. Do you ever watch old movies and just look up the age of the actors? You can't, right? John Wayne was 47 here. He looks wasted.
Yeah.
Him rough. And Ward Bond doing shots, smoking 100 cigarettes.
It's like they put whiskey on their face in the morning. It just looks like.
I think it was cool. They said John Wayne, when he died, have you ever heard this rumor? They found 55 pounds of dead meat in his colon that had
that wasn't that Elvis. It was impacted
he had a 55
fecal
pound
matter.
Turd.
No, it's impacted fecal matter is the actual medical
turd. This was cow meat that was still so raw that a good doctor could have brought it back to life.
Well, I know I got a lot in
fresh
there.
Burgers out of it.
Yeah, you could have thrown on the grill. By the way, the last thing on this was the Daily Show. Do you audition? Do you do a fake field piece, or how do you get on there?
Yeah, that was your first big thing, right?
Yeah, that was definitely my first big thing. I'll give you a little bit of the ramp into it. I graduated from college, and in the back of my head, I was like, I'm gonna get on SNL. Like that is my. I didn't tell anybody. I was very sort of. I mean, only maybe 1 or 2 of my closest friends knew how driven I was on that. And I moved to, but then I was like, well, how do I do that? And I was looking at
problem.
I totally agree.
Right. But I really was like analytical about it. And I was looking at you guys and others and how they had like the paths. And it became clear. It's like, you've got your groundlings sort of, pathway through Los Angeles, But then you also had this crop of New York City stand-up comedians like Adam Sandler and even Eddie Murphy and guys like that.
Yeah.
And I just felt like for some reason the stand-up comedy, well, and you, that's your background too, Dana, right? The stand-up.
Yeah, I was a pure stand-up. The Groundlings didn't exist in San Francisco. There was a couple of improv groups, but I didn't know anything about sketch comedy groups, so I did stand-up. So
that was what I was like, this feels like what I can do. It's kind of entrepreneurial. I can just, if I just apply myself, I can work my way up. And that's what I did. I just moved to New York, started doing all the open mics and gradually kind of got some, and I started auditioning for commercials and all that stuff. So
wait a minute, were you terrified? I mean, your first set, I mean, how hard was that leap? Did you do enough theater in high school or college?
Yeah, I did I did a lot of theater. I did a lot of theater in high school and then a little bit in college, but theater was not what I wanted to do. But I started doing stand-up the summer after my junior year in college. I did my first set at Stand Up New York. And
what were you like initially? Like, who were you doing characters, voices, setups when you're writing all your stuff? I mean, that does train you to write.
I would say, like, one of my favorite comedians at the time, and well, it still is Brian Regan. And I just always loved his...
Love him.
Yeah, what a genius. And I just loved his... he would like describe something and then slip into the goofy character in that situation.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of how I would model my bits. Like, I would just sort of set something up and then kind of place myself in it, like a dumber, goofier.
Like you say, I like when the guy at the gym comes up to you, hey, you using those weights? You know, just whatever you turn into the guys. Yeah. He's good at that. Yeah.
I had, these are some of, I mean, these are so embarrassing, but I had,
I want to hear them.
I had one of my, like, this was like my closer for a while, was this long bit about how awkward it must be to be a goldfish, because when they poop, the strand of poop like stays attached to their body for a while they swim around. And so I would do this whole bit of like, what if that, like, then I would be like, imagine that happened to you at a bar and you like go to the bathroom and you come back and you're like trying to like strike up a conversation, but you have like a string of poop. And it just went on. And it was, but it was me in character, basically as myself, trying to sort of explain away this.
What was the final line of that bit? And then you said, I'm Ed Helms, good night.
Yeah.
What was the actual last line?
Well,
so the poo remains attached.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh my gosh. I finally had to say, does anybody have some scissors?
Yeah. Something like that.
And then you guys, thanks for coming down to Sir Laughs.
Hey, you guys have been great. You guys have been great.
Well, then I eventually dropped that one, and my next big one was going, like, it was a little story about taking a taxi and then getting out of the taxi and thanking the taxi driver, and then getting on an elevator and going up the elevator, and then I get to my floor and I step off and I turn around and thank the person still standing in the elevator for the elevator ride. And that was sort of a setup for me to just talk about all of my social awkwardness, which was has always been
a lot of thank yous,
somewhat extreme. Yeah, just, and then trying to explain to that person, like, oh, I'm sorry, I was in a taxi taking mindset. I hadn't switched over to the elevator taking mindset.
Yeah. I had one where someone's coming at the elevator and says, hold, please. And then you have to fake like you're trying to find the button.
Yeah.
I don't want this going. Everybody had an elevator.
I do that. I start on
the
ceiling. I go to the ceiling. Oh my God, is it up here? And then they're like, no, on the wall. I'm like, behind me? And they're like, oh, it's closed.
Every comedian did that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Army issue.
Yeah. Or racing to get on the subway, and you get it. I did this one for years. You race down the stairs and sprint down the platform, and you get on the train and you're like, and then the doors don't close for 5 minutes. And you're just standing there panting, having to explain, like, I'm sorry, I thought the doors were going to close. That's why I ran.
Yeah.
Why am I walking you through all of my
I like
the lowest point in my comedy?
Well, you're not using this anymore, and we're always in the hunt for a bit that's laying around.
You know what, Dana? You can have it. You can have it. You could have this.
People give me bits. You know, you should say, "This is guy. This works." This tells me a joke. Everyone knows. You can have it. You can have this one. That's yours.
I tried to give this to someone recently. An elevator bit on the elevator with a guy, a woman, whatever. They get off and they go, "See you later." Should I be worried? What do you mean, see you later? did I take a ride with Dexter? Come on,
Christ sakes.
Who is this guy?
So you have a big resume. I don't know where to go, but Daily Show. So stand up. You got good, and they saw you.
Well, I got into the sort of Comedy Central at the time. There were so many stand-ups doing like this premium blend show and all kinds. They were just they were sticking stand-ups everywhere, and I kind of got on the radar, and then the Daily Show, which at that point I was watching religiously because I had really fallen in love with the show, and I was feeling like I think I can do that. I was sort of studying it, and then kind of out of nowhere, I get this. They had this huge cattle call, and I go, and I'm really inexplicably arrogant. Like I really felt like I had done the homework, which is rare for me because I'm not good at preparing for things. But I just felt like I'd been working on my SNL audition. I had like a little stable of characters or whatever. But at the same time, I was like really studying Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell and those guys. And a friend of mine had auditioned maybe like a year before and hadn't gotten it. And I was like, yeah, like, of course you didn't get it because you didn't do the 5 things that they all do. How do you not know that? How did you? So I was just kind of a nerd about it. And I got out of the, few hundred cattle call people, I was one of 5 or 6 callbacks. And that was a sit down. That was a segment in the studio with John. So they give you a script. Now, ordinarily, again, I would be terrified, but they give me the script, and it was a script that Colbert had just done on the show like 2 weeks before. And I knew exactly how he did it and all of the tricks and stuff and the kind of like newscaster cadence. And which I learned from your Tom Brokaw, Dana.
One of my earliest bits was going back to that for a second, newscaster ordering dinner with his wife. And a surprise coming on my wife today. She'll have her steak medium rare and a cup of black coffee instead of the traditional cream and sugar. So it is a funny cadence. And you had it.
Yeah, it's like a weird, people don't realize that. And you see it in movies a lot when actors play newscasters. They don't get it right. Because it's totally its own thing.
Yeah.
But Colbert and Carell at the time and others, Mo Rocca, Vance DeGeneres, those guys were crushing it on the show.
Vance DeGeneres.
And crushing. By the way, I just want to ask you, what was it like when you met Carell and Colbert?
I was so nervous. That wasn't until I actually got cast, but it's so funny thinking back on it. It was a basic cable Comedy Central show. Like it wasn't, and it became more of a phenomenon, but it really wasn't that big a deal in the world. But to me, it was my whole world. I was so excited, and I had to like pretend not to be excited and nervous because that's like that when you're too excited or nervous in a comedy setting, everyone's like, get out of here. Like you're totally ruining the vibe.
Gross.
It's just hard. Try not to try to be confident, not cocky. They're all in this clique and they have all their one-liners and then you're the new guy. That's always hard.
Try not to try. That is literally advice I got the first week with a segment producer that I was working with. She was like, you're a little too eager. You're too excited to be here.
And that was Joe Biden was the segment producer. You're too eager. Guess what? The fact of the matter is, you're too eager.
Yeah.
No, that happened. So I just assume those guys, because I gave him a job a few years earlier and I auditioned them and became friends with them.
Oh, of
and
course. Yeah.
They're not normal show business guys. I mean, they've been married for a half century.
Right.
They're so Midwestern. That I just wondered how they would be. They're kind of like on the show and they're becoming stars, and you're the new guy coming in. I assume they were incredibly kind. I hope so.
So great. And Carell and I only overlapped for a few months before he left to do, I think, Watching Ellie or he got his own sitcom. And then of course,
Watching Ellie.
He really blew up on Bruce Almighty, which came out like a little while later. But or Evan Almighty, I guess, or Bruce.
Evan Almighty.
The first one, was Bruce was the one where he was the newscaster that was like gibberish talking,
and that was the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, the Jim Carrey one is where he really popped.
Yeah,
because he was so funny,
so funny. And then he finds his way to The Office. I don't want to leap ahead, but then you both end up on The Daily Show, and you both end up on The Office.
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
Yeah, I've had a front row seat to Carell for many decades.
Has he changed? Has he ever gotten slightly cocky?
The worst. He started out the worst. He stayed the worst. No, truly the best. Like gentleman and kind and never. I mean, we'll get to the Office stuff. I have a lot to say about that. But
people will want to hear from you on that.
But I forget where I was, somewhere. Oh, so I get the audition and I go in for this segment with John, and I knew how to do it. And again, I was like weirdly kind of self-assured. And I'm a generally kind of anxious person, so it was one of those rare moments where I felt like I was where I was supposed to be. And that's such a rare, beautiful gift of a feeling when we get it, which I feel like is probably rare for everyone. But the audition went really well. And then they basically said, okay, so we're going to hire you and your buddy, Rob Corddry, who I had come up through like improv. He was more from the improv comedy space in New York, but I had also been doing a lot of improv because that was where Conan O'Brien was pulling cast for his sketches on his show. And so I'd gotten kind of into that world and with the Upright Citizens Brigade. But anyway, Rob and I get hired, and we don't get hired. They say, we're going to give you guys segments to do, and we're going to see how you do.
Try out.
Yeah. So essentially it was like a full blown TV segment, but as a tryout. And so that was my first one. And that was the one where the field producer, who was so great, she was like, I felt like she was on my side. Like she wanted me to do well, which is kind of rare in show business. And she was the one who, like, a couple of days in, she's like, look, this is going great. We're going to have a lot of fun when we go shoot this thing, because you do like 2 weeks of prep work for one of those. She's like, and we're doing meetings with John and the writers and whatever. She's like, this is going great. And you're trying a little too hard. You're too happy to be here. And then, so I tried to sort of
this woman.
She was so great. And I tried to swallow my eagerness a little bit and act cool, even though I felt out of my mind. I was so excited to be there. And it worked. The segment went really, really well. And John really liked it. And then I pitched another segment. My second segment was probably the one that clinched it for me. And that was kind of like your plastic surgery bit, David. It was it was called Touched by a Scalpel. And it was right after Katie Couric had gotten a colonoscopy on camera for the Today Show.
Right. Yes.
And so we're sort of like satirizing like the dramatization of medical, news people going into medical situations and then making a story out of it, kind of like exploiting themselves. And I had a mole removed from my nostril, and we made this huge dramatic segment about it, and it was the most inconsequential thing, but it was very, very fun and silly and went really well. And then that's when it locked up.
Right. And then at some point, I don't know when it happens, you're out there with John, it's a year later or something, and the crowd goes crazy when they see you. I mean, that's
does that mean you finally come in?
It's a heady thing, that idea of success on television and people being just happy, especially comedians. If you make someone laugh, it's sticky.
Yeah, you're so right, Dana. It's like when you feel that, when you feel like the audience knows you and actually has like you're starting off ahead of the starting line because the audience is already warm to what you do. That took a while, but then also weirdly, and I don't know what how your SNL experiences were specifically. I've lots of friends who've been cast members, but it really, after that initial sort of like ramp up, like you're saying, of maybe 5-6 months of just like pure excitement and bliss, like then the sort of like sine wave kicked in of like anxiety and oh, that segment went terrible, or John didn't laugh at that joke or whatever. And then you're sort of like I don't know, I started to kind of just poison myself a little bit with negative thoughts, and then you do something great and you're back on top, and then you're just sort of riding this.
It's SNL, same thing.
Yeah.
SNL, because you have great shows where it really works, and it's very rare. And then you have shows that are just okay. And it's hard not to kind of go. But on SNL, you just, same thing, you got the next show.
Yeah.
Usually. Unless it's the finale. This is the end of the season. It would be like really, really good if it was like a good show as opposed to a bad show.
Dana.
We love Lauren.
Yeah. We like good shows. Yeah. There was one, I did a field segment, I remember, and we get back to the edit and we're working on it, and John would always come in for a screening or two and give notes, and he comes in and gives a screening, and he's like, ooh, I don't know, guys. I don't know if this one's going to work. And he's like, give it another day and then let's see how it goes. And so we keep working on it. We're like rewriting all the voiceovers and whatever, trying to chop it up. And John comes in the next day. He's like, okay, all right, let's work on this some more. This is getting somewhere. And then he digs in with us, and he's spending time in there, which was very unusual in the field segments. Usually he would just give notes, but like he's in there with us. And I'm like, is this good or bad? Like, is it good that he's here, or is he like trying to resuscitate?
Right. It could go either way.
And then a day or two goes by, and it's been in the edit way too long at this point, but it's undeniably good by the end of it. So it's like, okay, it's going to air. Thank God. Okay. And it plays that night on the show, gets a huge reaction from the audience. And I said to John after the show, I was like, that went really, really well. Like kind of like, can you believe it went so great after such a tough process? And his response was something like, well, yeah, I mean, you can make anything good if you work hard enough on it. And it was kind of like, it was basically saying like, we kind of had to like waste a lot of time polishing your turd. That's how
you interpret it. That's a backhanded compliment.
But it was I think it was a genuine way of saying like, do better. Like you gotta deliver. Like of course you can slave over something and really like
put all hands on deck.
And that'll get it passable. But like let's get it.
You can't burn that much time and man hours. Yeah. You're supposed to be better. It shouldn't get to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now you're successful. And how did you find your way to The Office? Another smash.
So
or the smash, I suppose, of the last quarter century or something. It's a phenomenon.
Well, so of course I knew Steve, and I actually had a bit part in Evan Almighty, which was really fun.
Okay.
And he had started, I think he had started working on The Office at that point. And I remember when they cast Steve as the Ricky Gervais character, I just remember thinking, like, he is going to crush this. That will be, he's like so perfect for that.
Yes.
Because like he brought this kind of like affable obliviousness to his Daily Show pieces. And I just knew it would be so good in as
awkward, clueless guy.
Weirdly arrogant in ways.
Yeah, but still likable. Yeah, he had it was a perfect match of a part to a performer.
Yeah, exactly. And I sensed that even before the show started. And then of course it was so good. And then it became another show that I watched religiously, in kind of a studious way, also as a fan. And I actually auditioned for it. So when NBC was casting the original cast, I think I read for Jim or Dwight, I can't remember who, but I went into 30 Rock for a casting session, and obviously didn't get the part. Wasn't devastated because I loved my job at the Daily Show. But then a year or two goes by, and I loved the fake documentary format, and I worked with a friend on a short that was basically a short documentary about a zombie trying to like get his life together and get out and then like start dating more. And he was just complaining about the sort of like difficulties of being a zombie and all the assumptions that people make about zombies. And so it was a lot of like, it was very Office style, like talking to the camera mixed with like B-roll and little bits. And we paid for like really good zombie makeup. So it was just very, very silly. And somehow that got into Greg Daniels' hands. Greg being the
Greg Daniels,
creator showrunner of the American Office. And I got asked to pop in for a chat with Greg, and that's when they told me, "Hey, we've been thinking about this character. He's like a Connecticut yacht club kid, and he's kind of an idiot. And we think it could be really fun. What do you think?" And I just started kind of like pitching on it a little bit, and it could be like this and this, and we just had a really fun chat about what this Andy Bernard would eventually become. And then it kind of felt similar to the Daily Show, because there was this sense of like the story's going to split, and they're going to take Jim to the Stanford branch, and we're just going to try out these people. And if it doesn't work, we're just going to float Jim right back to Scranton. And so it was a very uncertain casting. It wasn't like join the cast of The Office. It was more like, come on, let's see how it goes. And so that was
just like the Daily Show.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So, but it put Rashida and me in this funny little crucible together. And I think we really bonded at that time, because it was so uncertain feeling and like, what's going on? But it was so fun. And again, it was one of those rare moments where I just felt like, oh, this Andy Bernard character, I get him. I get why he's a doofus. I get why this is like fun and funny. And
what's the vibe like on there? Is it stressful?
The Office set?
Finishing a thought, I'm sorry. Yeah, is it like run and gun? I mean, it's probably pretty thought out, but is it stressful? We got to get our days. There's some shows that are tougher than they look, you know?
Yes. And I would say it was long, very long hours, early mornings, and then kind of late evenings a lot. But it was such a cohesive group, and there was very little, if any, drama. The writers were it was a few people from SNL, like Mike Schur, had come on board, and of course Greg Daniels' origin was SNL.
Yeah,
but
of course. Great.
But it just had, it felt, I didn't, I would say the vibe was exceptionally good. It was an exceptionally good group of people that was enjoying each other, making each other laugh. The writing was so, everyone believed in the writing and believed in the show, and that takes you so far. I think if people, if you're getting scripts where you're disappointed or even a little apprehensive about doing something or whatever, that's when tension and like interpersonal conflict can start to creep in to a a whole show dynamic. But really, the shows were so good, like the scripts were so good, and the cast was so funny. Everyone made each other laugh. And what I was going to say about Steve, we were starting to talk about Steve a little bit or before. The thing I think that that made it work so well for so long is that Steve understood, and in a lot of ways, I think sort of passively taught all of us. He understood what it meant to lead a cast, and he understood that. And I don't even know if he thought about this or if it was just sort of his natural instinct, but he was always on time, and he always knew his lines, and he never ever complained. Um, he would get exasperated here and there, you could tell, but he was never like complaining about the process or the people. And when the top dog on a set is behaving that way, it makes it impossible for anyone under that person to behave in any
Too
other
squeaky,
way. Yeah, because then it's like, well, Steve's not complaining. Steve has more lines than anybody. He's in more scenes than anybody. He has to work harder than any of us, and he's not complaining. So like, why would you complain? And I think we all kind of internalized that. Again, not, I wasn't even aware of it at the time. It just was sort of like, oh, this is how we are on this set. We show up and we are there for each other.
I don't think Steve's capable of that, being a Midwesterner, but it's also like he was passed over for SNL, and if you make it at 23, it's easier to develop being a little bit spoiled. But if you know that you have a job, and never losing gratitude over that, and I think Steve would be incapable of that. But I just loved, I mean, it was such a breath of fresh air in America, just the way everyone was alive in the frame all the time, just with little glances and stuff. Just the way it was shot, it just made it just so real, as opposed to brilliant sitcoms where there's laugh tracks and all that. So stating the obvious there, but the thing that's interesting now is how big it's become since it went off, and it's on Netflix. It's just huge.
I agree. It took on a life of its own even after the show ended. And I still have little kids come up to me that are so excited about The Office. I'm like, you weren't even born when the show ended.
Yeah.
And it's still resonating for you. And I think it's a testament to the commitment of the writers and the cast, and the vibe, like this vibe that I'm talking about, that everyone felt on set, made it somehow through the screen. And I think people feel the warmth of it, and they feel.
And you also know you're working on a show that works. It's like a hit. Like that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And it's growing. So anyway, it was because we don't have all day, but we have a lot of time, just because you go from that, you get to The Office. I know there's all this stuff happening. And then all of a sudden, and you've done a lot of other things, but The Hangover happens.
Yeah.
The movie, The Hangover, one of the biggest comedy hits of all time. And so what are you feeling at that point, and how did that come about? Because that thing was great. I mean, I look at those comedies just in context. I look at Tropic Thunder, the one question I wanted to ask you, and then Hangover. Is there anything in The Hangover that couldn't be made today?
Oh, I think
a
so.
lot of things.
The ending credits.
I mean, I haven't watched it in quite a few years, but my gut feeling is that a lot of it.
I just assume
probably a little tricky tonally. Um, yeah, but
well, Todd Phillips, the director, kind of stopped doing comedy and went and did the Joker because he felt there were too many rules because of, you know, whatever the culture
sure
had shifted. But that movie, I was just like Tropic Thunder. I think the year before when I went and saw it, it caught me off guard in a great way. I really laughed my ass off at that movie. First blush.
Good title, R-rated. Everybody's good in it. Well
such
written.
a clean concept.
Yeah.
I think the by the way, it's making my year that you're saying that. That really means a lot.
About what?
That you liked the movie, a movie that I was in. I really appreciate that.
Well, Bradley Cooper and Zach and you, the three of you guys, it was three different notes. It was it's a perfect casting. You guys were all, but it just had a lively pop to it that you can't, you know.
I also think it was a little, the plot of that movie is kind of a magic trick because I was in a hotel lobby maybe a month or week or two after it came out. And there was a group of old ladies, like literally grandmothers, sitting around talking about bits from the movie and how funny it was. And I remember thinking, okay, this, and then of course you had like all the frat boys that love it, so the movie did this thing where like the guys, the characters are behaving horribly in a way that like is very aspirational for like young men to be like party animals, right? And so they are party animals, and that appeals to like young people. But then the next morning they're mortified by their own behavior. So that's what makes it redemptive to the older set, who are like, oh, these sweet boys got themselves in a pickle. And it kind of like
should have been called the pickle.
The pickle. You're right. Damn it. But it did. I've always thought that plot was very special because it was able to appeal. There were parts of the story that connected to so many people.
Yes, it was just such a funny device that they're basically blackout drunk, and then they're figuring out all this stuff going backwards, and
it's such an open way
and
to
feeling
just
very human about it. What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. You know, and you guys that was Tyson, right? Punching.
Oh yeah.
Was that the first one, second one? Do you remember?
Tyson was in the first one,
and the second,
one.
Yeah,
he's in the end of the second one. Yeah, second one's where I get his tattoo.
But getting Tyson and using Tyson and how Tyson has become now with hot boxing podcasts and how he's become this cultural figure that everybody loves. It was just, you know, the movie was paced in a way that all of a sudden you're seeing a Tiger and Tyson. You know, like it's just like it moves on such a great pace. It just never let up.
You still talk to the Tiger?
Yeah, it was so good. I got in there and I didn't want to punch the tiger. He told me, you said you got to punch the tiger. I said, I don't want to punch the tiger because I got tigers. Sorry.
Can I tell you something? It is terrifying working with tigers. Have you ever?
No way.
Worked with a tiger? It's, I don't want to do it
with their
again.
real indigenous teeth and claws.
There's something. So the first night we worked with the tigers,
telling you to relax.
The thing. Basically the tigers are sort of only restrained by the illusion of restraint. Like the tiger believes that their cord is strong enough, but actually they could break it if they got really freaked out or break.
They said the tiger believes, is that what it is? The tiger the tiger believes it can't break the cord, but it probably could.
Yeah, it's something like, well, I don't know. We're just looking at these leashes and like, that is not
too strong.
Sufficient. Like that is not.
No.
And then the first night that we worked with the tiger, it was at the Tyson Mansion set, which was out in Chatsworth, I think. And the tigers were on this truck and in these big cages, like on a big flatbed in these big cages. And as dusk set in, because it was a night shoot, and so dusk is setting in and the wind is whipping up and there's all these trees and tall grass, like, you know, just like kind of billowing in the wind. And the tigers are growling in their cage, like back and forth, pacing, getting really anxious and antsy. And we're like, what's going on? And the trainer's like, oh, you know, they're nocturnal, they're night hunters. So they're getting keyed up. They're getting keyed up
for someone to kill.
So what is it? So they're night hunters, and we're
then
just
they're like
gonna
5 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna start with a night shoot. And they give you this whole like safety lecture about how to like don't turn your back on the tiger because if they see your back, they think you're
Then they
fleeing,
want to
and
attack.
that's what makes them want to attack.
You'll
So
never get bit. If you do, put pressure on it right away.
Or point at the tiger and yell, stop. Because that's what we were told to do with dogs that would chase us when we were running. Get eye contact and yell, stop. But that would be terrifying with a tiger.
And then, of course, Bradley, that later on, we're doing the some of those photos for the ending credits.
Yeah.
And Bradley's like, can I feed it? And they're like, sure.
Boy.
They give him a giant milk bottle, and he's just standing there. I think it's one of the pictures in the credits where he's like actually feeding. And I was like, Bradley, what the hell? But
I love big movies that have budgets where I guess it was Todd Phillips or someone in a room writing mansion, Tyson punches tiger, you know, and then it appears.
And it works out perfectly.
And it works out perfectly. It's
probably hard to do all that stuff. By the way, night shoots are tough anyway.
Oh yeah.
Just for anything. And then when I see a movie, when I write them with my buddies, we always go, the final draft is like, let's go through and eliminate anything that could be day. Because sometimes you just put it in there and you realize you don't need it. Or you shoot it inside and they darken the windows, because flipping a whole movie to night and you do splits, then you're like, it throws everything off. And so most people are sane enough to try to avoid night shoots.
What's your longest day on a set, you think, Ed, where you get there at 5?
Right. So
hours.
This is nuts. So I was shooting The Office at the same time as The Hangover.
Oh no.
And they had both been incredibly accommodating. So the Hangover said, we're going to make our work week Wednesday to Sunday. And The Office said, we're going to cross-board you, meaning they're going to condense all my scenes into Monday and Tuesdays of an Office production week. So there was one night where we did a night shoot in Las Vegas on a Sunday night, and I had to be on set for The Office at like 6:30 the next morning. But we're shooting until 4:30. And I couldn't tell each production exactly what was going on because they were freaked out.
Yeah.
So I, on my own dime, I chartered a little jet from Las Vegas to Van Nuys Airport, which was 10 minutes from the Office stages.
Okay.
And I wrap on The Hangover at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning, race to the airport in Las Vegas, jump in this little jet that was the size of a Honda Civic, and
Lear 25, probably.
I don't know what tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And I land in Van Nuys. I sleep maybe 15 minutes on this plane, and land in Van Nuys, go straight to my trailer on the Office stages, get changed, and start shooting and have a full day. And of course, they've cross-boarded me, so it's all me. I'm shooting every scene that day. And the craziest part about that day, and there were actually a couple of days that kind of were like that. But the craziest thing about that is that at the end of that Office production day, Ben Stiller had asked me to do this little he was like had some big benefit, and he wanted me to be in a comedy sketch that he was doing. And I had agreed to it like a month before. And so it had squeezed in at the end of that Office production day, and I think I was on like my 7th or 8th Red Bull by the time I got to that. And I shot that thing, and it went fine, and then just zonked out. And I will say, as crazy as that was, and that was basically a month of like very intense insanity, flying back and forth from Vegas and like long days on both productions. It was also like one of the happiest months of my life. I loved every minute of it. The production of The Hangover was one of the most fun things I could ever have hoped to be a part of.
Yeah.
in this business. It was so collaborative. It was so none of us were, stars really at the time, and so everyone was just kind of like humble and eager to make something great. And it was a similar ethos to The Office, where like me, Zach, and Bradley actually were almost competitive about like being on time and like being professional and kind of showing up for Todd, because Todd is he's like a very obviously fun and hilarious director, but he's very professional. Like it's a grown up set. It's not like
that's
it's
good.
not like other comedy movies I've been on where it's just kind of like feels like a party. But we loved it. I think all three of us just were so psyched to show up and do the work and find the jokes. We would take these breaks and just step aside. Todd would be like, "What's wrong with this? Like, why isn't this funny enough?" And we would all just figure it out. I remember.
Wow, he's now my favorite director. Just saying that, going to the actual performers and going, "Hey guys, what do you think?"
Three funny guys. You're like,
but I just want to say here for people listening is that when you're in stuff you know is not working and you're trapped in it, whether it's a bad TV show or a movie or whatever, that is very exhausting. So your hours are insane, but you're in two spectacular things that are memorable to this day. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did not realize that was happening at the same time.
Well, I had my tooth removed, so I have an implanted tooth here that I've had since high school, and my dentist was able to take the crown off of it for the hangover.
Jesus.
But then I had to have a flipper that had a fake tooth on it to go to set on The Office.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that it did affect my speech a tiny bit. Like if you really pay close attention, you could tell. But it was just one of like so many hilarious details about that time. It's crazy.
It's an amazing run.
Trifecta of three of those on top of everything else you did.
We should mention before we let you get back to your magnificent life. Besides looking 36, you have a podcast.
Yeah.
That's very cool called Snafu. Tell our audience about it.
Well, thank you so much for asking about it, Dana.
I love the idea of it, and I wanted, after you tell us what it's about, it's like the history that's happening right now in America in a apolitical sense. You got ears coming off, you got people resigning and stumbling.
Yeah.
And so to your podcast, you're actually... Go ahead.
Yes. Well, so it's called Snafu, and the premise is it's kind of a documentary history podcast, and the log line is it's about history's greatest screw ups, and it's just a really fun kind of cheeky look back at some moments in history where shit just went really sideways, and each season this is season 2 just came out. It's iHeartRadio or iHeart podcast, and along with Film Nation and Gilded Audio
and your production company name, which I like.
Oh yeah, Pacific Electric Picture Company is my company. And we all collaborated on
video or audio.
Pictures?
No, the podcast is audio.
The podcast is audio only. But it's season 1 was a look back at this crazy event in 1983 called Able Archer, where NATO had this giant military exercise where they're moving troops and navies all over the planet, and the Soviet Union looked at that and was like, "Hold on, guys, are you staging to invade us?
Is this practice for the invasion?"
NATO said it was just an exercise, but the Soviet Union thought it was real staging for an invasion. And so they ramped up their nuclear posture. And then of course the US clocked that, and our posture ramped up. A lot of historians believe it's the closest we came to a nuclear holocaust. And all of this was completely under the radar, not known to the public at all until just a few years ago. And it's an insane story, especially when you kind of look at the template of what Ronald Reagan and other politicians were saying at the time, and then now knowing what was going on underneath it. It's a wild story. That was season 1. Season 2 of Snafu just came out. I'm so proud of it. It's this is like the ultimate mashup of my nerdy love of history, and then of course my love of storytelling. Season 2 is the story of Medburg, which is a cute abbreviation for media burglary, and it is the town of Media, Pennsylvania, where a group of activists, anti-war activists in 1971, Vietnam War going on. It's a crazy, like tumultuous time in America, and these activists felt like the FBI was getting a little bit shady and starting to intimidate or harass people. And so they were like, how do we prove this? And so just these citizen activists pulled off this insane heist where they break into an FBI office in Pennsylvania, steal files, and then they start to leak them to this very courageous reporter, Betty Metzger, at the Washington Post, and she starts to publish them. And that was the beginning of J. Edgar Hoover's sort of like exposure as a very dark figure.
How many years was he in the head of the FBI? I mean, he had files, and
my God,
he could have blackmailed everybody.
Yeah, he did. He flagrantly blackmailed lots of people, but even worse than that, he was harassing like so many civil rights activists. Martin Luther King was getting relentless harassment from the FBI. And then, of course, the anti-war activists were also getting harassed and at times blackmailed. They would write these poison pen letters. There's a famous one that they wrote to Martin Luther King that's just like basically telling him he should kill himself. But it's anonymous, right? It's like, what? But that came from the FBI. And then, of course, COINTELPRO was revealed, which is this which stands for Counterintelligence Program, and that was a program that under which the FBI was officially harassing and really like abusing its power and surveilling so much like illegal surveillance of law-abiding citizens, which is terrifying and should terrify all of us.
I don't like that. Would season 3 potentially be the Trump assassination attempt? I mean, because that's like, what?
I don't.
But no, you have a large
actually,
part.
season 3 is in the works already. We have season 3 in the works. It's an exciting one. I'll talk about that next time I'm on the show.
I was told by your producer that it's about David and I starting this podcast. It's an actual documentary.
It's season 3 and 4.
This is all deep cover. Me, doing research.
I love history as well, and things like that where we don't know which went on behind the scenes. It's just fascinating. So anyway, Snafu. Ed Helms.
Snafu.
Well, thank you, Ed. It's actually a blast talking to you
guys.
Yeah, very interesting.
I want to do this in reverse and just talk through your entire careers, because
we've been doing it. We talk about ourselves so much.
I know.
It's sort of
I've
sickening.
listened to you. It's fun. It's
and
fun
just because as a bookmark, we kind of did get to, but you did host SNL on May 11th, 2013, and in which during the monologue you were in a spandex unitard and you twirled a baton. So that's never been done before.
I'm very proud of that. I don't think that that was a wonderful, wonderful night. And really like the I just remember feeling that was the realization of that dream that I'd always had. To be on SNL, even as my dream was to be a cast member, but then of course to host was like
the second best dream is to be big enough to be a host of SNL, where the cast is kind of like, "Hi, Mr. Helms."
They work for you, yeah.
I have an idea where you and I are postmen, and anyway, but what a story! What an incredible journey you've had. My God, it's amazing.
I'm just getting started.
Yeah, you're just getting
believe me, where I'm up on the ladder, you are just getting started. You know, don't overage yourself. You know, people go, well, I'm this age. It's kind of, no, don't do that. You have to just not go gently into that good night. You just keep going.
Keep going till they stop you.
Keep going till you get enough.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm really glad to be here with you guys. This means a lot.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good luck with the podcast. This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.